Hey, I'm Nick.
And I'm Allie.
And this is But Have You Tried from the David A. Howe Public Library. It's another musical episode, Allie. Are you excited about this?
I'm
Are you ready
excited.
to get your jam on? Have you tried to play any Ben Folds songs on any various instrument?
I have not.
Really?
But I have been thinking about it.
I think you should.
I think I will.
Yeah.
But I haven't done it yet.
I mean, your piano is like your original instrument,
That's
isn't it?
true.
So,
But I actually find it really hard to play like pop songs on the piano because there's like basically two different kinds of playing the piano.
okay.
There's the one where it's like, here is every single note in the sheet music and you play it.
Yeah.
And there's the kind that's like, here's like, let's see what's going on in the song, or you like imitate whatever the artist is doing and
Gotcha.
you use chords and make it up. I am terrible at the latter kind.
Okay.
I find it very difficult.
Well, the beauty of
So-
Ben Folds, though, I mean, you can pick your flavor. You know what I mean? You
That's
could have
true.
one that's more ballady. You could do one that's more rocky, one that's more poppy.
That's true.
So many options
But
for you.
I feel like it might be easier for me to do it on the guitar or something. We'll
Okay.
see.
All right.
We'll see.
Yeah, that's fine. This is not really relevant to the proceedings today, but I want people to know that as we record this, you are wearing fingerless gloves.
I am.
Inside,
They're the little
In the
old
library.
school ones with the like little
The
hats on
flap.
the back that
Yeah.
fold over your fingers to become
Yeah.
mittens.
I don't know why you're doing it. Just,
My hands
just
are
chilly?
cold.
Just a little chilly?
Yeah.
Okay. That's fine.
Yeah.
It is cold.
If I wash my hands and the water is not like really warm, then my hands will just be cold forever, basically.
Well, then you have to wash your hands in the kitchen because that's like the only bathroom in this library
that's
with
good to
hot
know.
water.
That's
Kitchen
what I
or the
need
kids'
to do.
bathroom. Reliable
Yeah, but
hot
the
water.
kids' bathroom you have to like wait for like
You
5
do.
to 10 minutes.
You get, well, I don't know about that, but you do have to wait. You do have to wait. So you're surviving the cold.
Yeah, managing
That's
a little
good.
bit.
That's good.
The new coat is helping.
Okay.
Did we talk about that last time? I feel like we did.
We did talk about your new coat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, it's basically its own habitat. It's
Yeah.
an igloo
Mm-hmm,
that you
pretty
walk
much.
around in.
I
Hey, is
can't
your
see
Christmas
very well
tree
out
still
of it,
up?
though. So yeah, it is.
Okay.
It's getting a little dry though, so I
Gotcha.
think we probably need to take
The
that
time
down
is near. Okay.
soon. Yeah. Mhm.
Where are we within the Christmas season? It's over and done.
It's over and
Even
done.
for someone like you who
Even
likes to
for
stretch
someone
it out.
like me who likes to
Okay.
celebrate all 12 days of Christmas,
Okay.
which isn't even stretching it out. That's a perfectly legitimate thing to do.
Agree to disagree. We do have a wreath on our front door. It's
Yeah,
like
we still have a
real,
wreath,
it's a
too.
nice. I was like, what if we just take the red bow? It's like a burgundy bow. What if we
Uh-huh.
just take that off? Does it make it more of an evergreen
I
kind
feel
of thing,
like
or is it still
yeah. I
Christmassy?
mean, is it literally evergreen? Is it
It's
green
staying
branches?
green. It's staying green. Yeah, it's
Okay.
made of branches. Yeah.
I feel like that's pretty good.
Okay, we'll see.
We also still have our stockings up.
Oh, that's inappropriate.
Well,
No, that's
we've just been too lazy to take them down, and I think there might still be stuff in them.
Huh.
Like I think there might be candles in there or
okay.
something like
Well,
that.
this is the first time you're not actively writing your book in weeks.
Pretty
so
much.
you're
I
probably
haven't really
catching
had
up on a lot
time to
of
take down my
things.
stockings or
Yeah,
anything else.
I
So
get it.
I don't want to say nose to the grindstone because that makes it sound a lot more onerous than
Right.
it actually is. But I've been very focused.
Yep. Yep. Do you ever get do your fingers hurt from typing? From
Not
being in
really,
that?
actually.
Okay.
If I try and handwrite for a
the
long
the
time,
splendor of youth,
I
right?
know. That's true. That's true. I do also, I did this very legit typing video game as a
Yeah.
child. So I learned to touch type fairly well. And I think
Okay.
that helps because I'm not doing like janky things with my fingers so they don't
Yeah.
hurt too bad. So
Yeah. Well, I told you recently, my college buddies and I reunited for some old school, 20-year-old gaming, and I forgot just how much it hurts my hands to be clenching the mouse and using the keyboard and stuff. And I'd
Yeah, that's
finish and I'm
fair.
like, ah, you know.
Yeah.
So it's real. The time's coming for all of us. You know,
Yeah,
it's
it's-
marching on.
yeah.
Hopefully, the march of time, though, has been dulled a little bit by the melodious sounds of Mr. Ben Folds. How have you been doing with that?
Well, the assignment that I was given was to listen to
It's
Songs
changed.
for Silverman.
It's changed a couple of
It
times.
has
but
changed
yeah,
a couple
okay.
times. Well, I figure I needed to update the listeners.
I think you should.
Yeah.
Please.
So the initial assignment was Songs for Silverman and What Matters Most,
Mhm.
which I have been listening to.
Okay.
And I was subsequently told by both you and Hillary that I also should listen to Rock in the
Yes.
Suburbs.
Yes.
And then Hillary made a playlist of must listen Ben Folds.
Yeah, I did not ask her to do that. She's just an avid listener, and she was like, "No, she's got to hear this, and she's got to hear this." So she really took matters into her own hands.
Yeah.
So,
So I have listened to all of those things.
oh, really? Oh, you have?
I
Okay.
have.
That's
I have.
good. Okay.
And I tried to listen thoroughly because I think we already talked about how the first time I hear a song, I
Yeah,
don't
you
process it
can't.
at all.
Yeah.
It's just meaningless.
Yep.
It's just
Yep.
noises. So I tried to listen to all of them sufficiently. And I think I succeeded based on the fact that I woke up this morning and it was a different Ben Folds song was in my head every 15
Yeah.
minutes or so.
Yes.
So I tried my best and I
That-
think I succeeded.
That makes sense. My initial introduction to Ben Folds was when my wife and I were just dating, when we first started dating.
Mm-hmm.
I had made her a mix CD, so you can guess,
Oh,
the
very
time
fancy.
frame of this. And then she in turn made me a mix CD. and there was several cuts from Rockin' the Suburbs on it.
Okay.
So the song Zach and Sarah is like, that's the first Ben Folds song that I really remember. And I had a CD alarm clock, you know, so you could put the CD in and you could set the CD to, which is a dangerous game because the CD would wake you up, but sometimes the CD would skip or it wouldn't play right. And I'd slept through some things.
I had one of those that I had some problems with occasionally.
It was
too.
a scary time, but I often woke up to Zach and Sarah, which is kind of a jolt. Cause
yeah,
I
feel like that would really wake you up.
It did. Unless the CD didn't play, which was
a
real concern.
I had issues with that a couple times because it was like it's hard to find the right song, one that doesn't like jump scare you, but one that like wakes you up. Because at one point I had some like instrumental song on and I just didn't woke up. I just slept peacefully through the music. And my mom was like, you have to change it. You can't do that again.
Yeah.
And then another time I had a Chieftain song on, which is another Irish band.
Of course.
Of course.
Of course.
And it was like a song that started with drums. And I did not wake up to that one, even though you would think I would.
I would think that.
Because I dreamt that it was a herd of stampeding buffalo. And I just didn't wake up.
Yep. I
So,
definitely
there
have
are some
been there
risks.
bringing real world sounds into my dreams so as not to break the spell. Yeah.
It's like I just want to keep going a little longer. So
It happens
the
to the
brain
best of us.
manufactures what
it
it needs
happens
to.
the best of us. Well, all right. Why don't you hit me with some Ben Folds facts?
Okay. Here are some Ben Folds facts, which there's a lot of information to be found about Ben Folds. So this is really just the tip of the iceberg.
Okay.
All right. He was born in 1966, and he's from Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Have
Yeah,
you
you
ever been
can
to
hear
North
that.
Carolina?
Sure, I've been to North Carolina. Yeah. How about you?
I have not.
Okay.
I feel
was
like
just-
half the people I know are from there somehow.
Yeah.
But I've never been.
Oh, yeah. No, I've been there a couple times for some weddings. And just last year, I went down to visit my friends Eric and Kendra. We had a good time in
nice.
Shelby, North Carolina.
All right.
Yeah.
He was in various independent bands throughout the 80s and 90s,
Okay.
like a bunch. Like I was like looking through and I was like, there's another one. Okay. So, and then he had some more success with the Ben Folds 5, which is a trio,
Yeah, it
to be
cracks me up.
clear,
That cracks me.
from 1993 to 2000, when I was barely alive.
Oh, yeah.
For some of that.
But you made it.
I
You
made it.
in
I
the
made
initial
it.
cut. Yep.
And they also had a reunion from 2011 to 2013.
I love the album they put out then. That's a good one.
I don't-
Sound of the Life of Mine, something like that.
That's not one that I listen to unless
Yeah.
songs from it are on the playlist that Hillary made. I'll have to double check.
I don't think that's her jam. I like it, but we'll see.
Okay. He started releasing solo albums from about 2001 to 2007, the first of which is Rockin' the Suburbs.
Yeah, it's a great album.
In 2006, he provided some songs for the animated feature Over the Hedge.
Those are good. Like that's a kids movie with Bruce Willis and William Shatner like doing voices of animals you'd find in a neighborhood. You know? And the songs on there have no right to be as good as they are.
I feel like I need to rewatch that because I definitely saw it as a child.
Oh.
And I thought it was good. I enjoyed the movie as a child, but I
Yeah.
feel like my perspective on it now would be different.
Yeah.
Especially because like definitely at the time I wouldn't have recognized like any actors or anything.
Sure,
I was just
sure.
like, yeah, it's a movie.
Yeah.
They're doing stuff. There's
So
a hedge.
Inadvertently, Over the Hedge would be your introduction to Ben Folds.
That's
then.
true.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, they're good. They're good songs. I still have them in Ben Folds mixes to this day.
I'm curious if I listen to them if I'll recognize them from that movie or if I'll just be like, yeah, I have no idea. This is completely new to me. Because sometimes I remember soundtrack songs and sometimes it's just like, I guess that was in the movie. Sure.
Well, they're good. So maybe you do.
Anyway, so then in 2008, he was releasing an album called Way to Normal, which he like teased the album.
Yeah.
And then there was a leak.
Yeah.
But then apparently the leak was like a joke. Like
Yeah.
he made up some like fake songs and stuff and asked someone to leak them.
Yes.
Which is hysterical.
It is. It's very funny. And that was like that album was not super well received because it was not piano heavy. Like the mixes were all, I don't know. I listened to that and I did not like it. And they re-released it with a Stems and Seeds version where it was the original album, the fake leaked tracks, plus things that you could mix into. You could do your own mixing because he provided all the backing tracks. and
Oh,
everything. So it was a
interesting.
pretty cool thing. And honestly, some of the songs, like the goof songs from the fake leaked version, I kind of liked better than the ones that were actually on the album. So,
That's fair.
you know,
I am
it's got some
curious
good
about
songs.
that.
That's not a favorite album of mine, but it's got some.
The
stuff.
concept of being like, here's the real album and here's like a fake album.
Yeah.
That does intrigue me. So I might have to check that out
Give
at
it a
some
listen.
point. We'll see.
Give it a listen.
He also hosted the NBC acapella competition The Sing Off from 2009 to 2014.
Yeah.
Have you ever felt a desire to go on one of those, like The Voice or whatever, something like that?
No.
Do you watch the blind auditions? You don't feel any spark of like,
No.
here's how I would do it.
No. But I do remember I was in, like, American Idol started when I was like in maybe a senior in high school or something. So my first year of college, I was a lead in the musical, and people kept being like, "You should try out for American Idol," because it was this brand new
really
thing, and I
funny.
was like, absolutely not. So that's as close as I ever came to considering trying out for American Idol, and it was a flat no.
I feel like the idea of something like that seems kind of cool, like, oh, here's the song I would pick or whatever. But like, if you think about the reality of it all, it just seems extremely stressful.
Yeah, I would think so.
Can't imagine that. But anyway,
so you're not going to try out for a singing competition?
No, definitely not.
Have you ever done any a cappella singing? Like singing an a cappella group? Okay.
I think it would be fun, but I have not done it. I also am terrible at harmonizing.
Really?
It's because I'm a soprano and I've never had to.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Really? So,
gotcha.
yeah. So I feel like I would be kind of a drag in an a cappella group. I wouldn't be a good team player.
I think the closest I've ever come is the play Bye Bye Birdie, which I've done twice. I played the same role 2 different times. And in one of the songs, Talk to Me, it breaks and there's like an a cappella portion.
That's fun.
That I was singing in, but never. I wasn't part of a barbershop quartet or something.
That's fair. I mean, it feels like it would be fun to do. And I mean, I've sung a cappella with friends.
David A. House singers.
We could do it.
We'll grab Corey. We'll grab a few others.
Exactly.
Yeah.
As long as I can take the melody part, I'll be fine.
Soprano, sure. So you'll be all right. Yeah.
Oh, man.
Right.
Anyway, he also collaborated on some songwriting projects with William Shatner, Nick Hornby, and Neil Gaiman.
The Shatner album is so good. It's such a good album. And like Ben Folds is primarily the producer on it, but there's one where he sings backup and others where he plays, and it's just such an interesting album. I love it.
So I think there's like maybe 2 of these on the playlist. And one came on and I was like, what the heck? Is like, did my playlist start playing something?
Yeah.
Did Spotify just decide it was going to?
Yeah.
And then I was like, no, this is purposefully on the playlist. And I was like, but it says it's by William Shatner. And also I was like, William Shatner? What?
Yeah.
So then I had to do some Googling.
Probably Common People.
I think so.
And That's Me Trying would be my guesses.
Yes. Yeah. That sounds right.
Both very good tracks. Yeah, it's a cool album you wouldn't expect from Shatner. The Nick Hornby album is interesting, but I like Ben Folds' writing so much. So the fact that like he doesn't write any of the songs, he's singing other people's songs.
That's fair.
That one's never, like, I bought it when it came out and I listened to it a few times. And the last time we saw him in concert, he did do one of the songs and I was like, okay, I like this. But that's never made the list for me of Ben Folds' albums that I re-listen to.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Most recently, I think, he released What Matters Most, which was part of my assignment in 2023.
Yes.
He's been a busy man. So there's a bunch of other stuff he's done, if you guys want to look it up online.
That's true. He actually has one album that's slightly newer than that, but it's a Christmas. It's Slayer, came out in 2024. And he did, when my wife and I saw him in Hammondsport most recently, just last year, and he debuted a song from Slayer, so we got to hear it kind of early,
cool.
which was cool. It was a good show. I think you've covered the basics. So, I mean, it's very like piano driven, the lyrics I think are one of the things that really stands out to me. And I like his voice. I think he's not a traditional, I guess is what I'm trying to say, not a traditional vocalist, which is something that I kind of knocked Jens Lekman for in the last episode, but
That's
appreciate about Ben Folds.
Well, it's a very different style
fickle.
of not traditional vocalist.
I don't pretend not to be. So, all right, hit me. You've tried Ben Folds?
I have
so
tried Ben Folds.
What do you think?
I really enjoyed it.
Yes. I thought so. I felt like this was a pretty easy one. I was very confident that you were going to like it.
That's fair. Well, I was fairly optimistic based on your description.
Yeah.
And then I was like rolling the first tracks of Songs for Silverman, and I was like, oh, yeah, I like this already.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
I still listened to more, even though I knew I already liked it, which makes sense, but...
It was really hard to settle on those albums. I picked the albums that I did because I thought maybe you would like those the most. I think Songs for Silverman you see a lot of different styles on that album. So I think it's a good sampling of the different kinds of things he does. And the most recent one, same thing. I mean, there's some tracks there that really crack me up. So what stood out to you? What were some of the songs that you liked the best?
Okay, so let's see. I think Songs for Silverman was maybe the one that overall I liked the most.
Yeah.
But it's hard to say. Okay, so some of the tracks that I noticed from the various albums as I was listening, from What Matters Most, Back to Anonymous, and Moments, and Christine from the 7th grade, and Fragile. Yep. I have to remember what I try and do when I'm listening. I don't always pay attention to what the name of a song is. I'm just like, oh yeah, I like this. So I have to like look real quick and like make sure that I like add it or like write it down or something, or else I'll be like, what was that song I really liked? I don't know. Okay, from Rockin' the Suburbs, Losing Lisa, Still Fighting It.
Yeah.
Fred Jones Part 2.
I mean...
And Annie Waits.
I can't argue with any of these. It's so good.
Fair enough. And then from Songs for Silverman, we've got Give Judy My Notice, Trusted, Bastard, and Landed. Those are the ones that really stood out.
Yeah, this was really one that I had never heard of Ben Folds until my college girlfriend gave me a mix CD. And right away, like I remember we used to write a lot of notes like in between classes, and I remember writing a note being like, I like Ben Folds. I think this is going to be one that sticks. And it did. Yeah, he's not like a every year kind of releasing an album kind of guy. I think the one prior to What Matters Most was 2015, and that wasn't even a full album. So There is what it's called, and it's like 4 songs, and then it's like 4 instrumental pieces that are all kind of like tied together. So it's like different movements. And so that's kind of more like an EP than a full album. But every time a new one comes out, I'm excited. And I was very pleasantly surprised really by What Matters Most, because I feel like it just stands up there neck and neck with, the best of them. I think it's a super cool thing. Anything surprise you about it? Or we were talking last time about like story songs and like particularly like lyrics that you liked and everything. Lyrically, was there anything that stood out to you?
Yeah, I felt like the lyrics overall were really interesting, and I feel like I still need to kind of like dive into some of them more and like look them up and like read them, because it's like you can tell there's a lot going on, but sometimes it's like I'm missing things, whatever it is, I'm like not listening closely enough. But yeah, I was interested by like how much of it I felt like was story songs, and like all of them it's like I'm not sure exactly what's going on here, but like there's something going on here, which is something that I really enjoy about the band Owl City, one of my old longtime favorites.
Sure.
And it did really remind me of that in some ways. Like the style is different, but the vibe is very similar.
I would be a little surprised if Owl City didn't have some Ben Folds influences. Because you're right. I mean, especially that first album has a lot of...
Well, and even some of the like, like, oh, I'm just a guy sort of playing the piano in my basement, starting to record songs. Like that feels very reminiscent.
Yeah. So probably if you listened to any Ben Folds 5, it would have been anything on that playlist. Did you remember anything standing out about the Ben Folds 5 era? Because it's pretty different. I don't often go, like there's a few songs that are specifically Ben Folds 5 that I go back to, but I don't spin those records very much, So we've,
on that playlist from Ben Folds 5, we've got Cigarette, Kate, and Brick, all of which I really enjoyed. And I actually realized the song Kate I have heard before.
Oh, okay.
That
in
was
what
one
context?
So I have this playlist that's just kind of like random poppy songs that are sort of like, just like songs that I listen to when I'm feeling like happy and relaxed.
Yeah.
And Spotify, I think, does the thing where it like sometimes will just automatically add things. Yep. And it added this one, and I was like, I kind of like that. Yeah, that's kind of fun.
That is a good one. Brick, I think, is like the only real bona fide hit. I think Ben Folds usually kind of hovers in this realm of popular and has a good following, but is not like a hit maker. But I'm pretty sure Brick was even a number 1.
Yeah, everything I was reading was like, Brick, the song.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think that I've
kind of
ever...
interesting.
So I've seen him in concert 3 times, most recently just last year, but the first time was almost 20 years ago, and it's always so impressive. The last time we saw him, I think we talked about this a little bit when I saw it. It was Point at the Bluffs in Hammondsport, and it was the Paper Airplane tour. And the first half of the set was a tight set, that he did at most shows, and it was a mix of solo hits, a few Ben Folds 5, and quite a few from the recent album. And then during like intermission, they passed out paper airplanes, and we all wrote songs we wanted to hear on them, and then we threw them onto the stage.
I think that's just incredible.
Yeah, and then he would just wander around and pick up an envelope or a paper airplane, open it up, and whatever was on there, either he remembered it or he had big songbooks. And that was when he did one of the Nick Hornby ones from that album, which I didn't know at all, but I ended up liking it. So super cool just to see him wing it.
Right.
It was really neat. And of course, no 2 concerts are going to be the same. And, so it was kind of a special thing to see, but he's great live. I mean,
I bet.
He's good with the crowd, and I mean, he's such an amazing pianist, and being in a place where you can see his hands, and I mean, it's very cool. Very, very cool. So if you ever have the chance, I would definitely recommend seeing it live.
Yeah, I bet that would be cool. I mean, I feel like there's like a real interesting energy that I feel like comes through in the songs that I feel like would be really cool to see live. Yeah,
and it's really, I don't know. I mean, it just holds up. Like at this last concert, he was doing songs from Rockin' the Suburbs. And I mean, that album's well over 20 years old at this point, and it just feels just as sharp as it always was. So for a while there, liking Ben Folds was hip. And then when we were at this last concert, he was like, I think I saw one of my youngest fans here. He's 35. And I was like, yeah, that does feel accurate. But no, super cool. I'm glad you liked it. Do you think this is anything that you would add in rotation going forward?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
Because there's like some other albums that I'm kind of curious about, and some of the songs I feel like were very vibey, and I definitely add to playlists here and there.
Cool. If you're interested in Ben Folds 5, I would give The Sound of the Life of Mind a listen, because it's got some really cool standout tracks for me. Like there's one called Sky High, which I really like, and there's one called Michael Prater, 5 Years Later. It just really clicks, I feel like, that album. Because Ben Folds 5 does have a distinctly different sound. I mean, Ben Folds is still singing both of the songs, but they're a little bit more rocky. The instrumentation, rocky as in like rock and roll, not rocky as in like, but the instrumentation's different, and it's just, it's altogether a different vibe, but both cool, both worth it.
So for listeners out there in the world who are like curious about Ben Folds, would you say if they want to start listening, they should start with what I did, Songs for Silverman, What Matters Most, or is there like a more quintessential album in your mind?
It really depends. I feel like an argument could be made, and I waffled back and forth on this myself, whether Rocking the Suburbs or Songs for Silverman is the way to go. And it really, it's a personal taste kind of thing, but I guess I do lean towards Songs for Silverman because I feel like it's a little bit more refined, but like maybe you don't want that. Maybe you want the more freer experience that Rocking the Suburbs is. So I don't know. But I really think that also if somebody is just picking up What Matters Most, they're going to get the idea too, because I think it's really strong. And I think some of the ones you mentioned, Christine from the 7th grade, for example, is a very poignant commentary on, I think, the state of the world and, Fragile, what it says about abusive relationships. And I mean, there's just a lot of messages there that I think hit with a lot of people. And I think it's a good representation of what he does and the musicianship that he has. And I don't really think you can go wrong. And I feel like now I need to go back and re-listen to the Nick Hornby album, which is called Lonely Avenue, because as I sit here and talk, that's the one that I have almost no memories of. So maybe
you can do a little refresher again. Yeah, and you can update us on what you think of it in the bookshelf.
Yes, I'll keep you posted. I will keep you posted. And I want to know if you play any of the songs too.
I'll let you know.
Yeah.
I think part of the reason I haven't is I'm like, which one? Like, I mean, there's nothing to say I can't play multiple, but like, which one do I start with? I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, my wife will sometimes like be in the mood to go play Ben Folds, and she'll like sit at the piano and run through them a little bit. I remember her playing The Luckiest back before we were even dating. I remember hearing her play it like backstage. We were in a play together, and it's just the music's just so great. But he also has a autobiography called A Dream About Lightning Bugs, and there was a podcast that went along with that too, which we have the autobiography here. We have an assortment of albums, including What Matters Most. So if people want to check them out right here, they can.
Absolutely.
Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Me too.
I'm glad you enjoyed it. And it also was fun for me because I never really stopped listening to Ben Folds, but in the last month, I was like, I got to remind myself. So I was like,
it's a good excuse to like re-binge.
Yeah. I was listening through albums like start to finish a little bit more than I have in the past. And, they are nice, cohesive little works. So, yeah, it's been cool. It's been fun.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, well, I know you like Ben Folds.
I do.
But have you ever tried American Sign Language?
Like, no, I haven't.
Oh man, that reaction was so good.
Yeah, I.
Okay,
so you want me to learn sign language?
Well, not all of it.
Okay.
I was thinking some like of the basic vocabulary, like greetings and like how to sign your name and some of those things.
All right.
And I'm gonna give you a little bit of a choose your own adventure for how you want to do this.
Gotcha.
So
it's gonna make for a terrible podcast.
Yeah.
We'll have to video it.
That's true. That would be funny, actually. You just have to talk. You're signing, but talking about what you're doing.
Yes, okay, all right.
Okay, so there is a website called ASL University.
Gotcha,
which is a bunch of videos done by this guy, Bill Vickers, he's so good. It's incredible.
All right.
And there's also an app that we have access to now called Mango Languages.
What a marketing genius you are. Look at that. Mango Languages.
You can now access Mango Languages with your library card.
Yeah.
And there is also an ASL module there. Okay. So you can either do, I think, the first module of Mango. I glanced through it.
Okay.
And that looked like a reasonable amount. Or maybe the first 2 lessons on ASL University.
Okay.
You can pick your poison, whichever way you want to go.
Well, I mean, since you brought it up, we should talk about some of our new services.
We should talk about
because
those.
We do have Mango Languages, which is a pretty exhaustive list of languages.
They've got so many
options that you have are
so many
very
languages.
Broad.
Like they have, Quebecois French, which I've been wanting to learn ever since my Louise Penny binge. So now I can.
Now you can do it. And have you done it at all?
I got the app and I glanced around, but I haven't really started it yet.
Okay. I've done probably the first, I think I'm on the 7th module of Portuguese, which is what I was doing on Duolingo and Drops, and I kind of switched to Mango. And it's it's certainly not as gamified as like a Duolingo. It's a little bit more straight, but there are, sometimes it's a listening exercise, sometimes it's a repeat, and you can do a thing where you record you saying it and then you match the sounds up with them saying it, and you can see the sound waves, so you can kind of be like, okay, really I'm hitting all the marks. So it's very cool. Like I've really liked it. And just like with Libby, if you're using that app, Libby is the app that we use for ebooks and audiobooks. You sign in with your library card and your password. If you don't know your password, we can reset it, or you can go to starcat.stls.org and do the forgot my password thing, and you'll get a password prompt in your email. But that's how you sign into Mango. And then we also have Canopy, which is movie streaming app, which is, we've been wanting to get a movie streaming app for so long. And the only difference there is you search for the Southern Tier library system, which is what we're a part of, rather than David A. House specifically. So if you search Wellsville, you're not going to find it. You got to search Southern Tier library system. Both just added at the end of January here, and accessible to everybody with a library card. But bringing it back, I think probably I will definitely do some of the Mango, and I'll see if I feel like I want to go.
That sounds good.
In different directions.
Yeah.
So,
and then the cool thing about the Mango, which you will discover, but this is for the benefit of the listeners.
We get the stats, so it's
there's that. There's that.
The benefit of
there's
the listeners,
cool thing.
Of course.
The benefit of using Mango for ASL, they've got this little feature where there's like the video of the person doing the signs.
Okay.
And they also have a little space where there's your camera, so you can compare what you're doing to what the signer is doing.
Yeah.
Which is sort of like what you were talking about with the voice recording thing.
Okay.
But a visual medium, and I think that's a really cool idea.
Yeah.
So
now, how well versed are you in ASL?
I've been working on it for a long time, and I haven't made as much progress as I want to.
Okay. I just want to know how far away we are from being able to make snarky comments in like at a boring conference or something.
I think we could get to that.
You think we could do that?
I think we could do it.
I mean, that makes it all worth it for me in the end. All right. So, yeah, I mean, folks, if you like Ben Folds, or if you don't know Ben Folds and you want to hear it, we've got albums, we've got books. Of course, he's streaming all over the place, and it's a great live show. So I think we both would encourage you to check out Ben Folds. Is this correct? Okay, great. And in 2 weeks, we'll be back to talk about what we're reading and watching and all of that. And then after that, we'll see how good I am at ASL.
I know. I'm just assigning you between this and the knitting, all the things that you have to like use your hands for, you know?
That's true.
You can build up all that finger dexterity.
Yeah. I should never, I tried to fly too fast too soon with knitting. I need to get back and just make something simple, because I really was enjoying it. And then I tried something too advanced and I got discouraged.
I know. It happens to the best of us. Yeah. Easy to do.
All right. Okay. Well, I guess we'll see. What's your confidence level? Do you think I can?
I believe in you.
Okay.
I have confidence.
That's encouraging.
I don't know if you'll like it or not, but I believe that you can do it.
Okay. Thank you. And again, check out these new resources, Mango and Canopy. They're great. And we'll see you next time.
Sounds good. Bye.